Well, the summer travel season is really hot, especially if you want to go to Europe. The man with all the answers, the man with all the deals is here. Thrifty Traveler, Jared is here. Hi, buddy.
Thanks for having me, Jason.
Thank you. How nice is this?
I told you before the segment, I could live here.
I'm good.
This is amazing.
They're up there. Little do the Vikings know, I'm not leaving.
That's right.
I'm staying here. I'm not leaving.
I fully support
Yeah. Okay, let's get to it. I'm looking at this card. Is this right? Cheap Europe deals less than $300.
Bonkers.
Is this card wrong, Jared?
It's crazy because like 6 months ago, I was worried that we would never see like sub $400 fares again, and things have just gone off the rails price-wise, which is great for all of us.
Yeah.
So fares from Minneapolis last week to Amsterdam and Paris were below $350. Fares from New York and Boston to several different cities in Europe, $225.
Jared, give my
round
friends...
trip.
Yeah,
round trip.
Round trip. Give my friends some perspective. You watch these prices on an average month, average day. What are these usually going for?
$600 to $1,000.
So we are looking at
crazy.
Like 60, 70% discount on some of these.
And the airlines aren't advertising these. Like Thrifty Traveler, a whole team is
we are
finding
right now,
these
though.
fares.
We are, yeah. Why so cheap, though? Do we know?
Yeah, so there's intense competition. So, the deals we're talking about are flying like American, Delta, United, but then there's budget carriers like Icelandair, Norwegian, which doesn't fly to MSP, but is still putting a lot of pressure on those other airlines. So, and the cheap oil, continuing on for several years now, is driving down prices, and it's a beautiful thing for all of us.
Oh, yeah, it really is. Yeah. What cities, any more cities that you wanted to...
Barcelona, Madrid, Amsterdam, and Paris. So all the cities you really want to go to in Europe. Any
advice, and Jared's going to be answering your questions from our Facebook page a little bit later, but any general advice for maybe folks watching, my Betty from Anoka, who's never been to Europe, your best advice?
Yeah, so for sure, go to thriftytraveler.com, follow us. We have an MSP deal every single day at thriftytraveler.com. Sign up for our newsletter. Other than that, avoid going peak summer. So right now through... end of August, and then avoid the December holidays. So if you can go in the fall or the winter or the spring, that's when you're going to find those cheap fares. That's the golden period. Okay,
let's get to current deals other than Europe. What are we looking at? And they'll be behind us, too, on our magic Viking board here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, we're seeing, to Denver from Minneapolis, $100 round trip nonstop this fall in Delta. Orlando, $157 this fall. Fort Myers, $157. Las Vegas, $137. Phoenix, $157. Savannah, $206.
Seriously?
Yeah. From MSP. Yeah. So.
And again, that's not usual.
No.
Those are not, though, 50% on some of those. I watch some of those cities.
Yeah, sometimes. So you got to be flexible with your dates. That's an important thing. Sometimes leave on, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and return maybe on a Saturday or Monday or Tuesday. Kind of shifting your days a little bit will save you 50%.
And because usually the most expensive day to leave is when usually?
It's going to be the business day. So if you think about like a Monday and a Friday, those are going to be the most expensive days to fly. So I always try to travel departing and returning Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday.
Now, again, Jared's going to be answering questions. Did you just get back from a trip? Well, that's like asking me if I went to Disney World. But anyway, any cool trips that you just went on?
Yeah, my wife and I, we were on the inaugural flight from which is the first flight from Minneapolis to Mexico City, which just started up a couple weeks ago.
Oh, nice.
And which opens up, going to Mexico City is obviously amazing, foodie capital of Mexico, but is also going to open up cheap flights to the Mexican beach destinations, having that new route. As well as Central and South America. So finally, we're seeing some cheap fares.
We got to go, but I've never asked you this really general question. You've literally been everywhere. It's part of your job. Off the top of your head, what has been the place that has surprised you the most, that you loved the most?
I think my wife and I went to Thailand last year, and the people were warm, lovely people, and it's super cheap, and the food is amazing. Yeah. So that ticks all of our boxes.
Bloop, bloop, bloop. There we go. Thrifty Traveler's back. Now he's answering. We're basically lending you Thrifty Traveler for about 4 minutes. He's answering your questions that you posted on our Jason Show Facebook page. And once again, you guys had great questions. Let's start with Amy. Jared, Amy writes, should we avoid the Dominican Republic? Kind of explain why and then what's going on.
Yeah, so there's been a lot of publicized American tourist deaths in the last year. So it's important to just think about, it's been sensationalized a little bit, but statistically, there's been no more people, like 2 million Americans go to the Dominican Republic every year. So, 8 to 10 people isn't outside of the realm of normal people who die from natural causes. I know that sounds like I'm minimizing it, but it's important to, think about that.
I mean, you can go to Hawaii and be eaten by a shark.
Yes.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Anything can happen anywhere.
As I
but
get ready to go to Hawaii. I just said that, yeah.
The most important thing is don't let whatever's in the media deter you from traveling and seeing the world. That is the most important thing.
Yeah. Next, Dee Dee, but be diligent. Okay, Dee Dee writes, we want to take an empty nester trip in the fall with another couple. What are your suggestions, recommendations? That's a great idea.
Man. Well, there are so many possibilities. So it sounds like you have an open mind, Dee Dee, which is awesome. So I would just go to Thrifty Traveler every day, sign up for a newsletter, get those Minneapolis deals, and when one piques your interest, book it.
Yeah, seriously, Dee Dee, and he's on. I can tell you, those deals come up, and you just have to be ready to book them. But remind folks, when we said this the last time, the audience oohed. People don't know about the refund policy. I don't think enough people know about that.
So the hotter the deal, the shorter it lasts. But there's a great U.S. federal law that if you book a flight directly through the airline, so let's say you went to Delta.com and you booked a flight, you can cancel that within 24 hours as long as it touches U.S. soil on the departure or return.
Did you guys know that? Yeah, it's.
So if you find an amazing deal, just book it. Ask questions later, and then you can always cancel it and be refunded.
Yeah, have that dinner conversation and then maybe cancel it. Yeah, there
I don't want to start any fights.
No, but yeah. Kathy writes, hi, Kathy. I'm trying to book a trip to Hawaii for my 50th birthday. Which island? Do I book a package or piece it together myself?
Okay, so there's 8 Hawaiian islands. There's 4 main ones. Each one has a very different vibe. If you want to do it easy for your first trip to Hawaii, probably just go to Oahu, most populous island with Honolulu. Go to Waikiki Beach, which I know, Jason, you love. I love as well. Yeah. Each island has such a different vibe, so do some research. As far as packages are concerned, sometimes it's cheaper to book the hotel and the flight separately, but sometimes it's better to book a package. So kind of crunch the numbers.
We've done it several times, and I will tell you, just anecdotally, I always piece it together, get a better deal, and if you want a slower vacation, I think you'll back me up. Maui's a great choice. I love Maui. It's one of our favorite places, and yeah, that would be a good one. Pierre writes in. Pierre writes, I'm interested in going to the Olympics in Japan next summer. When should I start planning?
So, Pierre, you're not the only one. I'm definitely interested in going to the Olympics. That's going to be July and August of 2020. So right now is when you should start planning. So
right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So flights are only bookable 11 months out. So if we're thinking about going in July of 2020, you can't book until August or September of this year. So you got to start thinking, when do you want to book? And if you're going to use points and miles, which is what I would recommend, Delta has a nonstop flight to Tokyo. It's going to be about 80,000 sky miles. Book immediately when those flights are available in August and September.
Next, Amy writes in, hello, Amy. I need to buy airline tickets to travel in July. I'm thinking prices will drop during the holiday week, right?
Wrong.
Yeah. Sorry, Amy. Wrong. Yeah.
So the most important thing that everyone needs to know is always book those flights at least 30 to 45 days before departure. There's really no such thing anymore as last-second cheap flights or holiday flights, during the 4th of July or, whatever. Always book as far out as you possibly can. Avoid that 30 to 45-day window before you depart.
Same kind of category here. Betsy writes in, when should I buy tickets for Cancun in September? Prices are pretty high right now, Jared.
Yeah, so Betsy, watch thriftytraveler.com. If you're flying on an MSP, follow us on Instagram, Minneapolis Flight Deals. You should be booking those flights now. We've had, flight deals since November, last fall, essentially, during that time frame. So you want to be booking again with it before we start getting into September. So in the next month or two.
Going back to the holiday thing, you would recommend if people are looking for holiday travel for this November, December, they should start thinking about it right now. Basically Christmas in July.
Do not procrastinate when booking flights. Have a plan. Google Flights price alerts. We have a great article at thriftytraveler.com all about it. You can do it yourself. Whenever you're looking for flights, for sure go to thriftytraveler.com or book directly through Google Flights, which allows you to book through the airline.
Yeah, and will you remind people what the Google Flight Alert is? Because again, I have used it and it has saved me hundreds of dollars.
So valuable. Yeah. And the best part, it's free. So you go to Google Flights, super simple. And if you have a Gmail account, you can find your specific dates you want to go. If you're inflexible with dates, choose, I want to go Tuesday to Tuesday in December, and then it will send you updates every single day when those prices fluctuate. So again, it's not very complicated, but you can go to thriftytraveler.com and we have a great article about it.
And don't forget to follow Jared on social media too. If you want to be jealous like I do, if you want to be jealous of all the places he goes, you can find him at Thrifty Traveler. And this is Thrifty Traveler too. Has a great Instagram account, and of course go to thriftytraveler.com. And I've said it. That's why he's my buddy. That's why he's on our show. I have saved probably now over the last 3 years you've been on the show thousands of dollars because of that guy right there. Thriftytraveler.com, everybody. And if you miss these tips and questions, don't worry. We'll post this whole segment on our Facebook page a little bit later. And like I said, always find the full episode on YouTube.